Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's good to be alive once again. And I want to thank God for the great privilege He has given to me to always come here every Sunday on the clinic with Oluwatosin Oladimeji Ladipo. Yes, I know it's a great privilege. Lots of people are dead, but I'm here today. Let me just thank God for that, for the life He has given unto me. Like I want to say, I want to welcome all our viewers. And we all know that every Sunday we always come online on our show to bring different guests to talk to us or impart us on different topics, just for them to impart us with their wisdom, with their knowledge, with everything they have, with their experiences. And it has always been fantastic, very wonderful, because the response we've been getting from people is that this program has always been inspiring. Sometimes they don't really stay online on Sunday, but they have a culture of always going back to watch, and that has always been giving me joy. I really want to say a big thank you to them. It's because they believe in me anyway, and I pray that one day that I'm not going to disappoint anybody. Sincerely, God will keep giving me the grace not to disappoint you. Thank you so much. Like, we started a series 3 weeks ago on the upbringing of the child girl. That's what we've been treating for the past 3 weeks. And last week was a very good one too, despite that the network was so bad. Very, very, very bad. But it was still good. I still want to thank God for that. And today I'm very sure that it's not going to be an exception, because the guests we are having, you know them. I know they are good. I know them very, very well, that they are good people. Aside being good people, they are loaded with wisdom, they are loaded with experiences, they are loaded with knowledge, and they have girls. And that is the reason why we are bringing them on board this evening. And the topic we'll be treating, like we've been saying it on a different social media platform, that is the upbringing of the child girl. The upbringing, sorry, I'm not the child girl, the upbringing of the child girl by African parents outside Africa. Yes, that is the topic we'll be treating this evening. The upbringing of the child girl by African parents outside Africa. That is what we'll be treating this evening. And before I go on, I would like to do justice to the profile of my guests this evening. I have two of them, and I love doing the right thing. So let me open my phone. As I read their profile out, the way it's being sent to me is the way I'm going to say it. You know, it's good sometimes. Just hold on, give me a few seconds. Yes, my phone is open. Let me start. I will introduce them, but let me read the profile. Their profile says, Eyitayo Olotu is the co-founder of Maximize Singles, a dynamic pastor, teacher, and motivational speaker. He is joint lead pastor of House of Praise Christian Center. Me, I don't have to pronounce that one. You know, I'm not Soimbo. Will you pronounce that one for me? Pronounce that one for me. Christian Center where? Neshels. Is it Neshels? Nichels. Thank you. You know me, I don't know how to form. When I don't know how to do it, I say it out. Thank you. Birmingham, all the way from Birmingham, and co-founder of Maximize Living Charity, an architect and property developer by profession. He is passionate to see people discover purpose, unlock their potentials, and achieve a maximized life. He teaches at organized events and seminars in an in-depth, simple, and easy to understand way on the word, like principles, entrepreneurship, and wealth creation. He is happily married to Moyosola Olotu, and they reside at Birmingham, UK. They are blessed with 3 lovely girls, Amber, Evelyn, and Rosalia. Those are the 3 girls that they have. Now, let me now go to the wife. The wife is Pastor Mo. Well, her name is Moyosola. They're popularly known as Pastor Mo. Yes, Pastor Mo's profile. She's also a host co-founder of Maximize Single, a pragmatic and dynamic teacher of the word. She is passionate about strengthening marital relationships and seeing more singles making the right choice. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that, because I have some singles. They are here. One of them said, don't worry, I'm coming online. Yes, you're going to hear it from her this evening. Let me continue. She is passionate about strengthening marital relationships and seeing more singles making the right choice in marriage bound relationships. She shares biblical principles, concepts, and ideas that are applicable and effective to singles and married. She is the host of the popular Maximize Single Forum, an avenue where singles of marriageable ages are taught and empowered to live holy life and have a healthy relationship. Moyo is the author of the Confession CD for pregnant women, Joyful Mothers Declaration. She is an entrepreneur, a conference and seminar speaker, counselor, mentor, and coach. Yes, like you can see on our flyer, she is Coach Moyo. Our ministry is characterized by excellence, integrity, selflessness, love, and wisdom. She and her husband are blessed with 3 children, Amber, Evelyn, and Rosalia. Her hobbies are dancing, cooking, organizing events, and meeting people. One of these days, you are going to eat her food because I've tasted her food and it's always very delicious. It's nice having them around this evening. I've done justice to the profile. Please, family, now I want to welcome Pastor Tayo and Pastor Moyo Olotu. You are welcome this evening. Well, like their profile say, architects and architect Tayo and Coach Moyo Olotu. Nice having both of you around. Nice having you around. How are you today? How are you today?
We're very good. Thank you so much. Thank you for having us on this program. Fantastic.
Wow. I think I'm blown away with the profile thing. I'm still trying to recover. I think that's just too much. But if that's
it's a profile, really. It's a profile. We can't lie about it. It's actually your profile. You are doing well, and that is the reason why we are having you. If you're not doing well, there is no way we would have noticed you. You know. Thank you for coming online this evening.
Well done for what you do, and well done for what you continue to do to impact lives.
Thank you.
Well done. Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, sir. Is there anything else you would like to say aside the profile we've read out about yourself to us? Anything you want us to know?
We are children of God. That's all.
All right. Thank you.
And to live a life of assignment. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's nice having you around. And not to waste too much of a time, we need to go into the program now properly. Now, our first question, we have some questions for you. It's a question and answer thing. So, well, sometimes our guests, our viewers, they ask questions and we try to read it out if we can. Now, our first question to you is, we said that the topic we're treating is the upbringing of a girl child by African parents outside Africa. That's the topic we're treating. Now, our first question to you is that how much of our culture, the African culture, should be passed down to an African girl born outside Africa? That's the question.
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay, that's fine. I suppose there are many people who are in this boat who have girls and they are raising them outside of Africa, and so they think, okay, they are trying to find the balance of how much of culture should we pass. And the simple answer for me though is there are many of our cultures which are good. Things in our culture like respect is good. Things in our culture about values is good. Things in our culture about hard work is good. So there are many things in our African culture which is good, and there are many things that are bad. There are also many things which are good in the Western culture. There are many things that are bad. One of the things we get to say to them, we say to them, look, before you became, because they were born here, before you became British, you were firstly Nigerian. So we joke like that. We say you were Nigerian first. Okay. And then the good things, for instance, some of the good things about the Western culture is that a child develops confidence. When we were younger, you dare not even look at your parents in the eye. Anything your dad coughs, you run away. Okay? So you don't want to take those good things away from them. You don't want to take confidence away from them. The way they express themselves, those are good things. But with that also is balancing and saying, look, Some of the other things we see as negative. So I would say the simple answer is we take the good things from our own culture and say, look, we do this and this is good. We've seen the benefits. And then other good things that we have seen in the other culture, we then allow them. So it's literally the good and then leaving the bad ones.
Yeah, and just what my husband has said,
Right.
I feel for me, what is actually African culture? That's the starting point. I remember when I
Okay.
met with my husband, one of the first few things he said to me was, "See, I'm from a polygamous family, and there have been things that have not worked in the marriage, and he really wanted the right thing. I'm from a man and husband's family. That's my background." And then we found out that there were differences in the way we relate and things that the food and a lot of things. And having found that, we realized that it was because of where we were brought up. So we made up our mind to sort of look out for like mentors or families that will respect their values. Because unconsciously, a lot of us just take a bit of habit or mentality from our environment where we grew up, and then we form a norm, and then we think it's a cultural thing, and then we pass it to our children, or we want to enforce it on our children. So when we started, we're like, look, let's pick what we feel is the right thing, right values. It might not be Africa, it might not be other way around, but we made up our mind to pick what was right. And for us, for our children being born here, to be honest, I don't think we have particularly said, oh, pick up this African culture or thereabout. Just like my husband said earlier on, you want to focus on the right values, whether it's Africans, whether it's, from the Western part or whichever way. The first values we have given to them is the Word of God, because a lot of values do change, but the Word of God is constant. So that's the basic foundation we'll be giving to them. This is what the Bible says, stand on this. The Bible says, obey your parents. So even if the other culture does not, we take them back to the Bible, and then it's easier for them to digest rather than enforcing every other culture. So passing those values and regularly reminding them is important. African cultures are good, but looking back, I think there have been a bit of mix. And depending on where you grew up from, a child, I found out, picked up a lot of habits and other stuff that might not be necessarily be an African thing, but maybe from the home where that child grew up from. And I think for me, that's a starting point. Thinking about that background, that home first. What value is passed to a child? Some needs to be unclogged, and the child picks up the right things. So I don't know if he negates where you're coming from, but I think sometimes, whether it's African or Western or whatever, let's still talk about what is the right values and the ones that needs to be dropped for our children to have the right perspective in life.
It's really loaded. Somebody said, loud it, ma. The word of God never change. And that's a very good one. It's not my comment, really. I'm only reading out the comments. What somebody said is what I just read out. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, sir. Now, this is a matter of you balancing everything together like this. So don't feel that, so the African culture is the best or the Western culture is the best. We all have our good sides and the bad sides. So we should learn to pick the ones that are good to merge it together. Thank you so much. Now, the second question, I think, is just the same with the first question, which you have answered. Anyway, the question says, what values should be instilled in her considering the environment she's growing up in?
Yeah.
Does it relate to the first one?
Yes,
yeah, and then be different.
You want to speak first, or you want me to speak first? Again, this is important. This is not only important with children in the home. As pastors, we have to deal with people who maybe they grew up here and they are members of the church.
Sorry, sir. Is it possible you speak out?
Okay, sorry.
It's not
so
too yes.
my phone as well. Yeah, sorry. I'm just trying to increase the volume as well. Yeah. This is not only a case of even children alone. When you relate to people who grew up here, there are times that they absorb the Western culture, and so they assume that every value in the Western culture is good, which is not necessarily everything is good. So, for instance, you find out that if you grew up from African culture and in a good home, you are taught that the value of discipline. So they discipline you. You are taught the value of respect. So when they even though they are born here, when they wake up in the morning, we tell them, come, kneel down, let me pray for you. Yes, it's African culture, but every single day we pronounce blessing upon you. We tell them the value of discipline. If you misbehave, certain things will be withdrawn. Discipline, he has to be disciplined. There's no two ways about it. You can moan, you can say any other thing. We teach them the values of respect. Many times they say, why do they have to call everybody aunties? Because they are not their aunties. Well, it's respect. In our culture, we respect people. You know, in other culture, you might, again, it's a balance because you go to work, everybody is on first names. But then when you come to some other places, you have to understand that you're in a different setting and then you need to show respect. Okay. We teach them values about vision, where you are right now. One of the things you find is that an African person who comes to the Western world, most of the time, they are driven. They are driven because they know where they're coming from. A child who is born here, everything is just ready. At times, they might not be so driven. Like at times, we push them, okay, grammar school, you have to do the exams. And then they're thinking, why should I do the exam? Some of my friends are not even doing the exam. You know what? We need, if you don't do some of those exams, if you don't sacrifice, you may not end up in good schools. If you don't end up in good schools, yeah, you might be okay, but you will not be at the top. So some of those cultures, and in fact, what we definitely say to them, we say some of these values are not only African values, they're actually kingdom values. It's the way God thinks about things. So things like respect, discipline, respect, hard work, vision, goals, honor, we need to drive it into them that look, this is not merely African culture. This is how God thinks. This is godly values. The only thing is maybe African people imbibe it. So therefore, you need it if you're gonna go far.
Thank you so much, sir. And sometimes, well, sorry, I just want to buttress a little bit with what you said now. I remember then while I was growing up, of course, I grew up in Africa. I'm an African babe. I grew up there. So what I want to say is I remember then while I just gave my life to Christ to go out to evangelize and all sorts. And sometimes I think about it. Somebody will tell me, oh, it's good to do this, it's good to do this, it's good to do that. That as a young girl, you have to do this, you have to do that. Then one day I sat myself down and I thought of it. So I had to call the person. I said, look at it. Let's be practical. Let's leave God out of it. Of course, there is no way I can leave God out of my life. But if I want to take it the way you're thinking, let's put God, let's put Bible aside. Now let's think it as human being. Human. If I am a prostitute as a person, will you be glad to relate to me as a person? Will you be able to tell people, oh, that's my friend? There is no way you will tell people that your friend is a prostitute. No way. Or if I'm an armed robber, I go everywhere stealing, killing people. Will you be bold to tell people out, oh, Tosin is my friend? You will not be bold because nobody wants to associate with people of such. Do you understand? Nobody wants to. And at the end of it, that's aside. And I ask another question. Fine, at least you said probably those are the things that maybe you hurting others. But let's look at ourselves that I'm not hurting others. My own self. Let me put it this way. If okay, I don't want to serve God, I just want to be Tosin. And Tosin, at the end of it, I'm smoking. I'm drinking. I won't tell you smoking is bad. I won't tell you drinking is bad. But I'm thinking I'm smoking things that are dangerous to my health. At the end of it, is it not me that will bear the consequences of the things I'm doing? Do you understand? I will be the one that will bear it. If I have cancer or if I have all those diseases that are attached to what I am doing, will I not be the one that will suffer it? So what is now the essence of all these things? Or probably I'm prostituting my body. Do you understand? And at the end of it, probably I've now contacted, what do they call it? HIV or something, or AIDS. At the end of it, I will still be the one that will suffer and die, isn't it? So what is now the essence of all these things? Those were the things I asked myself, and I asked that person, now, what is now the essence of all these things? If you not be proud to call me that, oh, Tosin is an armed robber, she's my friend. Tosin is a prostitute, she's not my friend. Do you understand? She's not my friend. So what is now the essence of all these things? That's why I said, of course, I'm 100% buying what you said. If you are not saying it's God, do you understand? Even practically,
Yes.
does it really worth it? It
Yes.
doesn't, sincerely. So if you don't read, you will fail. Is it you that will fail? It's you now that you know what? Okay, like somebody that now that I was telling you that they expel out of school now. Is she not the one bearing the cost? The person pay what I was paying school fees. Of course, we only shout, and at the end of it, you be the one that will stay in the house for years. You will not send school. You will not send school to go to. Well, I'm not the speaker for this evening. I'm only buttressing what they've said. Now let me hear from Pastor Muyo. Let me hear from Pastor Muyo.
My husband has said quite a few about, a lot about that. I just want to come from another angle. I did a talk something, and I read a book which really resonated in me, and I'm trying to practicalize it because there's a lot in life, especially when your children are growing older. When they're younger, they are easily, you can, I would say manipulate. You can ask them to do something and they will do it. You know, I've got children now. I've got my first daughter now. She's in the stage whereby she wants to question virtually almost everything you ask her to do. When they were younger, you can say, "Oh, this is how we do things," and they will do it. But then, as a stage in life, they question it, and then and because they are trying to find their identity, they are trying to have a voice. So they're really trying to, as much as it's not that they want to be rude, but a lot is going on in their mind, and a lot is they're trying to find their place and know where they belong and what is the right thing. And so sometimes, even as an African parent, if you're not careful, we will go back to the method of us, somebody said, somebody was making a jest, he said, as an African parent, the child gets punished before they do something. What do I mean by that? Maybe you see a child doing something else, you tell the child, if you like, go and do it. Go and do it. The child has not even done it, but I've not done anything yet. So you get punishments ahead of what you have not done. But that will remind you in your head that that's one of the ways African parents get it in. But in this stage, this phase of life we are in, it's not likely to work. Rather than getting the child to your side, they are more going to be rebellious. But we found that one of the way we want to get our points in is to enforce it, get our values into them to enforce it. But I found that it doesn't really work, and most of the time we get drained and tired out because we're trying to enforce what we believe, what some of our parents did. Thankfully, some of them worked. Some of them did not work, but the children they just took it there. Why? Because that was the only way we knew how to do it. My point of view, I want to advise African parents in the West. If you're African parent, and even African parent now back in Africa, there are better ways, and with a lot of changes of what is going on online, all over, information overload, all our children are exposed to technology. So what you don't even know, they know. So if you want to carry on using the same way to imbibe values into them, we must struggle long and for a very long time. So part of my submission to us as African parents, this is to learn to bond. We need to learn to bond with our children. What do I mean by that? A lot of us African parents, we deal more with boundaries more than bonding. And what is boundary? Boundary has to do with a lot with punishments. If you don't do it, and it's good, we don't take it away from our children. But most of the time, before we do the punishments, sometimes I feel like, you can't beat her, and I'll just say you are very close. I keep saying you're close. When you're, even as a parent, you're trying to be told back. I tell them you're very, very close. So I keep saying you are close. What it means is that I don't want to touch you. I don't want to, but you're getting close to it. And they know when they cross the boundary, which they should be punished. However, we need to learn to bond with our children as well. It's in the place of bonding that they find a culture. Naturally, you find that they do it without you forcing them. We were in church today and we're praying. I think I went down flat, trying to thank God. My little daughter went flat beside me. She was looking at me, eyeing me, and then doing what I did. I didn't ask her to do it. but she found it amusing, so she followed suit. When we bond more with our children, bonding means making time to just allow them to be and have that bonding where we can play and relate, and not everything is force, fighting and forcing something in. We find out that what we want them to do, the natural us and the culture we bring from where we are, they will pick it. And without you saying much, they will do it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's learn to bond more than setting boundary without bonding. So a lot of that we set a lot of boundaries, punishment, but we don't bond with them. When we bond, we find that naturally they'll pick what they feel nice in us. They won't rebel it.
Thank you so much, Pastor Mo. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Pastor Tayo. Somebody is saying, I've used both method that both of you have said is the best and it works for me. And that person is Bumi Olu, Sister Bumi Afalabi Ojo. I think she's the one. So she says she has used both method and it's working. So thank you so much to our guests for this evening. They are doing well because the method is working. Yes, thank you. Now our next question to both of you is, what are the challenges an African parent raising a girl child outside Africa may be faced with?
Okay. What are the challenges that an African parent will be faced with? Well, the culture is a major thing. I mean, we've been talking about this, isn't it? So the culture as a major thing then cascades to become other things. Say, for instance, even if you're raising a child in Nigeria, once they start to get to secondary school and they are mixing with people, by the time they go to university, they are not at home. They're in Unilag, they're in other universities. There's always the temptation to follow other people, to dress, the way some of our girls would dress in university. Now, if we think that we're struggling with raising up a child in somewhere like Africa or Nigeria, over here, you go to city center during summer, you see the way they are. So by the time they are growing up to an extent, they want to wear mini, even in the house anyway. And this is where what my wife was talking about, bonding, but not bonding, and I suppose also teaching them in the place of bonding. So it's not even now just enforcing, but letting them to see that, look, what you're doing, these are the repercussions in future. So a key thing that we struggle with, to be honest with you, is culture. We struggle with culture. We not only struggle with culture, if we don't do well ourselves, there's every possibility that they look down on you. They look down on you because, funnily, they go to school, their teacher says, sit down there. They obey once, especially for those who are well behaved. But then you get home, you say, sit down there. You have to say it like 3 times. Okay? But then when they see that by the grace of God, you do have results in what you're doing, there's likely to be respect, and that respect is important. For many of us parents who are African parents, many of us don't even have a Western accent. They naturally pick it up because that's the only thing they're used to anyway. So whether you like it or not, in fact, one of our daughters, I think the first one of the time said that we're living in the UK, so why are you not talking exactly like them? And I said, well, I don't necessarily have to talk like them. They understand me. I go to work, I relate to other people. As long as they understand me, there's diversity. There will always be diversity. So I'm Black. I'm proud of the fact that, in fact, we take time to say that to them all the time, that look, we're not disadvantaged. We're proud of what we are. So you will have to deal with respect, whereby they would have to respect you, see that, okay, you're doing well in what you're doing. And then for whatever reason, you're able to communicate the way you carry yourself. So you deal with culture, you deal with respect, you deal with quite a number of things, really, raising them up.
You said some things that actually caught my attention, and what is the word? Sincerely, you said something from everything you've been saying, aside the respect, aside the culture, that if parents are not doing well themselves, that's a lot. It's really key. Because I remember there was one time we had a program on this show too. I've forgotten what it's all about, but it was all about education. And we asked, yes, she's a very young lady. She's a PhD candidate in in Canada anyway. We now ask her the reason why she still wants to go into education, despite that people don't really want to go to school these days. And she's just as younger, she's not up to 30. And you are a PhD candidate. I'm sure she must have graduated now. Early this year, she has graduated. Now the question to me, why? Why education again? When you have everything at your beck and call. Do you know the answer she gave? She said, because of my children, they cannot afford to fail. And that thing touched me. This is a girl that is not even up to 30. Do you understand? So that means if we ourselves are failing, how will the children do well? And that is a lot. In fact, it's a take home for me. I must really double up. Thank you for praising me earlier on that I'm doing well, but indeed, I must really double up. That is a word for me. It must not get into my account. I really need to double up. Thank you, sir, for that word. God bless you for it. Now, Pastor Moyo, let's hear from you before I read out our comments. Let's hear from you.
I'll just add to what my husband has said, and we like being practical. And just like he said, some of the challenges that these children face is lack of our parents having a lot of lack of information to help them.
Okay.
The parents, they go online. So the internet is a major challenge for parents. And we're not sensitive enough. My daughter researches a lot. Before she comes, say, Mommy, oh, this, I research a lot. I found out, and then she'll come and ask. Imagine you being a parent and you can't catch up with such a child. You already am praying, God, have mercy on you. Have to do this. So she goes for an information, then come and ask you again. So as parents, one of the major challenges, we need to double our knowledge of what we know, including what is going on online. We need to be aware. If I recently, one of the things that dad did was to set a screen time. So she knows when our phone goes off. And then she said, oh, Mommy, can I borrow you? I said, no, your screen time is over. That is it. And sometimes we just sit down, watch what they do, watch together. So that parents don't have a clue of what the children are exposed to. You just say, oh, go and watch this. No, we don't normally have that a lot of time to watch TV, but there was one of the nights just said, let's have a movie night. We sat down together with popcorn and stuff. So let's watch this series together. And I sat there, I was watching, and even though I was enjoying it, but at the same time picking up what are they really exposed to. So one of the major challenge, which shouldn't be a challenge, but which is a challenge, is involvement of parent or African parents in what is going on in the life of the children. Involvement with their schoolwork. Every time we need to find out what is going on. That's why I love the lockdown period. Even though it was quite challenging, but we woke up every day setting up like the school setting for the girls. And when we had the parent evening, the teacher said, oh, I shouldn't be asking you. You should be the one. I said, you know what? It was a lot, but it was good to be part of what the children are learning at school. So imagine you going through the children curricula. Then you can say as a parent, you know what they're going through. So the challenge of us not being exposed to enough knowledge to pass to these children or to use to face the challenges, the pressure they face outside. So African parents need to be involved in that. As long as I don't say necessarily we should be all over looking for information, we should have enough to let these children look up to us. Just like my husband said, early this year, I took up a business analysis course. And within 1 week, I sat for an exam, and I said to myself, I've not written like a certification in like 14 years. Busy with family life. I just took it up, and they knew I was preparing for exams. So I was praying, so God, let me pass this exam. Because these children now, when you change your children around, they're like, no, you must pass your work. And, they do few exams and that, like going to grammar school, and it's tough. But we keep saying to them, you can do it, you can do it. And I said to them, Mommy is going to write exam in a few days' time. So pray for Mommy to pass, but they could see how much I was studying as well. So I was like, oh, please, I must pass this exam. I must not fail this. Even if I fail, it's okay. At the end of the day, it shows them that you could fail in life, but that's not the end of things. So we do tell them that, no, we have made a lot of mistakes and we're moving on, because it helps the child confidence. When a child has never seen the weak side of their parents, it's not strength for us to always be strong all the time. You are not helping that child. Let the child know that sometimes you didn't get it right. It will help their confidence when they are struggling to know that my parents felt that way before, but look at where they are today. But thankfully I passed, and I told my younger daughter preparing for it, Mommy did it, and if Mommy could do it, you can do it. And the other day I said to her, I believe in you. And she was telling her sister, I said, Mommy believes in me. So some of the challenge is looking for the right way to deal with their pressure as well. I'm talking about from African parents' point of view now. The children, as they ask, we are a part to play as well. Sometimes we always go and just go lashing on them all the time. Why this, why that? asking for the right way to handle what they're going through
Mm.
is a major challenge because we don't know how to deal with it. Sometimes, and because we're so involved in counseling as well, we listen to a lot of university students, and sometimes when they come to you for counseling, trust me, some of the things they say, I'm like, oh my goodness, in my heart I'm praying. Some of the parents don't have a clue, and then they've come to you to confide in you, and you can't say that out. And in my heart, I'm thinking, when my daughter gets to this stage, how will I do it? So I'm using them to learn, to know that, you know what, we need to find the wisdom to address what they face. Technology, they face pressure from friends in the West. They face the fact that we're trying to enforce, and it's not like enforcing to them, it's like enforcing our own culture. But I've said one of the ways we can stop solve that is bonding with them. When you bond, they talk to you. One of the days, my kids were just talking, and they were talking to my boyfriend. Young as young as talking. In my mind, I wanted to show an expression, but I've learned from counseling that you don't have to. So I had a blank face, even though in my mind I was processing things. And when they finished talking, I said, Mommy, why are we talking to you? Oh, how are we actually saying this topic to you? We don't even know. I was smiling, but in my hand, like, Father, give me grace, But the fact that they can relate, it's quite key as well. So challenges they face is a lot of pressure, culture, internet, and and a lot of other things, religion as well. Rather than practicing Christianity, they're faced with that, pressures from some of their friends that are doing one thing and the other are doing the other one. Pressures from families sometimes that are not together. It's a major challenge. The children are not same, but maybe when the father and mother, they don't unite to have a voice. Father is saying something, mother is saying something. That is a major challenge. The child is not sure what they should stand for. The father is saying this and the mother wants to get back. Teaching the child another thing, when the daddy and mommy, they don't work together as a unit, it's going to be a major thing for the child's development, whether culturally or the other way around. I can go on and on, but I think that should be enough.
Thank you so much. You really said a lot. You've really, really said it. And that is key. Yeah, that is key. Number one, you said something that touched my heart now, because even while you were saying it, there was this expression on my face. And when you said it, that, of course, in counseling, you have learned not to even put up an expression, which I'm taking home as well. Sincerely, I'm taking home as well. Thank you so much. Somebody, I would like to really want us to say this. Let me read what this person said. She said, from my experience as a social worker that works with children and family, parents need to have the ability to create boundaries at an early age. What is your view about that?
Oh, that's important. Again, we find the balance, and that's why we said discipline. So we must create boundaries without making a force. Okay, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, well, this is what is good for you. Okay, for instance, now, like my wife said, there's a screen time. So for our first daughter, there's a time our phone starts to work. There's a time our phone shuts down, so she can't go online. Okay, and we said to her, you're going to have a phone once you enter school, once you enter grammar school, and this is going to be the screen time. You can't just be on the phone all the time. There are times when our phone shuts down that she then comes and says, oh, can I quickly use your phone? I need to quickly do this. And the answer is no. You have a time limit. Anything you want to do within that time limit, do it within that time limit. If you don't do it within that time limit, that means you have not been spending your time wisely. So it's a no. If you like, you can get punished, but it's a no. Okay? They're like school meals, for instance. My wife puts a particular amount of money in the school meal account. Occasionally, she can spend more than that. She will buy cookies, buy all kinds of things. So you can imagine a child who is not working, who is spending over £2 something like that. When you start working, how will you have savings? So if you do that, you go over. It's a very simple thing. My wife will just be like, okay, for this week, what would happen is you take homemade food or homemade salad, whatever. You sandwich, you go. You cannot spend because we're not going to put any money there. Again, it's helping her to cut her coat within a budget. So there will be no money there until the next week again, once you finish it. So what I
Prayer
mean by,
time,
yeah, prayer time, this is the time to pray. So there are boundaries like that that we
different
set.
things.
So, and it's setting the boundary without any force. If you go over that boundary, there will be repercussions. And the repercussions is not even beating a child. No, 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 no. If you go over that boundary, there are other things you're gonna lose. It's as simple as that. So if you go over, there are other advantages that you will lose. So it's important for us to set boundaries, be firm about those boundaries, but explain to them the reason why we're setting it. Because even when they throw tantrums and they say all kinds of things, in their hearts, they know it's for their own good. And you know that you are being firm and you will not be moved, and they know that you love them.
And just to add to what my husband has said, well, without there's this saying, without a goal post, you don't know when you score a goal. And most times, how do we have a family line without, set objectives and posts and goals? If I believe every family should having goals, every year goals, and let the children know. One of the things the children said to us, when we have family time, we allow them to talk as well. So they too give us feedback. And one of the feedback was, oh, we don't have family dinner together, something like that. Because we're doing a bit of renovation, and for such period that we didn't even have a dining table. So we just finished the renovation. I said, okay, we'll take that on board. I said, now we have our dining room separately. We have everything, so we can be doing that. So they picked one of the days, live during the week could be busy. And they picked one of the days, and Sunday afternoon, like they look forward to. Today night, they said, can we have family dinner? I said, no, daddy is fasting, that kind of a thing. So, but when daddy is not, we do that. And then when we come together on the table, you could see they look forward. And that's why they pour everything going on in their hearts. They tell us what happens and that. So family timing, family goals, even in our Bible reading and everything, they know the timing. If I will have a clock, I said, you do this one. The chores in the house, everybody has what they do, And setting it is important. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm tired. No, let's put it there. And children like to push. In fact, they'll keep pushing you, but keep putting your feet down. They want to see who can win first. Don't give up. Parents, in fact, the older they grow, my friends used to tell me they want to have teenagers. You have never. But I see now that even my daughter getting close, she's trying. But I've told myself, I'm not going to. And we don't need to be. There's where you can add emotions and passion to what you're saying to your child. They'll be looking at you. That why are you forcing? They'll be like, what's wrong with you? Why are you? They are not even.
Why is this so much noise?
Why are you making so much fuss on? But putting our feet down is very important because we are helping them. We are helping the future, and parents need to keep going back there. But one thing I say is, when you have not put a line, you have not drawn a line, you have not told a child something is wrong, you don't have any right to scold them on it. Anytime you have not made something clear to a child, the day I discovered that was a big deliverance for me. For example, if a child takes a cup, washes it somehow, or spills water on the table, and you have never taken time to correct that young child that when you take a cup, this side should be clean it this way, and you just go on and lash and beat that child, that's not right. It's not right. As a parent, you have not passed any message across. The child, why are you beating me? Why are you making a fuss? So I learned that, and one of the things we do is making sure that when a child does something, the first time, don't rush on them. Take it as if they don't know. And every instances we teach parents as well what to do differently. So anytime you see a child does something, just say, you know what, come here. Next time when you want to do this, go on, do it this way and this way and this way. Is that okay? Fine. Do you understand? Fine. When next you repeat the same thing, there's going to be punishment. You don't give a child punishment at the first instance of their error. Because you have never at some point called them on that particular thing. And you have not taught them what to do. And you find out that it makes things easier for us that everything they do, give them a first time chance. Even our Heavenly Father does for us. If on everything he latches on us, we are not going to be here where we are. So as parents, one of the things we have to do with the boundaries and everything is, and we can't teach everything. It's only when something occurs that you can say, okay, this is it. So at every first instance, call the child, educate them, and send them forth. And let them know next time when it happens, there'll be repercussions. You find out that they take this on board and things will be different in the family as well.
Thank you so much, Pastor Moya and Pastor Tayo. I really appreciate both of you. I guess I have three more questions for you, if you can still take the three questions. Now, this first question I want to ask is for the African daddy. Yes, it's for the African. Don't move, but you can help him. You are the helpmate. Please help that is meant for him.
No,
Now,
let's do justice to that. I'm pretty sure it's more than those people.
okay. Now, the question to African daddy is: you are a man.
Yeah.
Of course, you grew up in Africa. So, what do you feel about their love life growing up as young children, young girls? What do you feel about their love life? Because I remember while I was growing up, you dare not. Of course, you have to hide. Sometimes you have to hide. When mom is going, you're talking to a boy or you're talking to a you have to. You know how you do it now. So and now you're finding yourself in the Western world. So what can you say? Growing up children, growing up girls, their love lives are.
The first thing is that raising up a girl here is totally different from raising up a girl in African culture.
Okay.
And also raising up a girl in this generation, I don't know what they call this gen now, Gen Z or whatever, is the educators and all those things, is different from our own generation. Now, even as a boy back then, I can't even remember that you could go to your parents until a particular age and say that you're having a relationship.
You get beaten.
But just like we said, and my wife said, that bonding is very, very important. And bonding and teaching. So teaching them is so important. But this is one of the things we tend to we try as much as possible to explain almost everything we can explain. That this is the reason why we're doing this. This is the reason why there has to be repercussion. This is the reason why there has to be this. I mean, say for instance, if I'm digressing, we have a dishwasher in the house. We rarely use it. And the moment we bought it, we said, "Oh, we're gonna have a dishwasher in this house." We said, "But you're gonna be washing your plates yourself." They're like, "What?" We said, "It's there so that occasionally we use it, but we want you to develop the habit of washing your own dishes yourself. You wash your dishes, you do." We have somebody who comes to clean the house. It comes maybe once in 2 weeks. The other week, we leave it for them. We say to them, when the person comes to clean, they need to see what the person is doing. Then the next week, they have to repeat it. So we all do it again because we don't want them to grow without those abilities. Now, going back to raising up a girl here as a daddy, right now, I mean, the other day, our daughter, the older one, came, and apparently some people came to church. So all those people came to church, some former parents who were members of the church. So there were some of these young boys that were the same age. They all worked together. So she came and said she has something she wants to say to me. You know, she was seated on the bed and we were talking. So I said, "What is it?" She said, "Okay, I must promise that I won't scold her. And just tell me, what is it?" And then she went on, she went on. Anyway, it was all about you fancying somebody else.
Crush.
Now, just like my wife said that she kept a blank face. I can never even imagine me until maybe I was like 20 something, even as a boy, as a man, to go to my parents. So for you at which age, as a teenager, you're coming to me that you fancy somebody or somebody fancy somebody. So I just said to myself that okay, it's a different generation. So I have to then explain that look, number one, you people are too young. Whatever feeling is normal, you will go. I will just tell him you will go. But the main thing is focusing on what is important for now, and then later. So if you bond enough with them, they'll come and
They'll
talk
talk
to
to
you.
you. Yeah.
And literally you need that because if they don't talk to you, then it's problem.
Yep.
So because they will still do whatever they want to do when they're outside of the house anyway. So it's better for them to talk to you so that at least you can correct whatever notion they have than if they are not talking to you at all. So there's a massive difference, but then we then need to understand that. And then, in fact, even with dressing, like we said, there's a massive difference there. Explaining to them why they cannot necessarily dress like every other person they are seeing on the street. And we say to them, look, when people have issues, there's rape or all kinds of things, it's also because of the way somebody's dressing. You can invite all kinds of things. So there's a difference, major difference, but you just have to, with the wisdom of the Holy Spirit, be able to communicate with them.
Thank you so much, sir. That's excellent. I'm really glad. Can't you see I'm rocking on the chair with the answer you gave? Because when you were saying about us saying I have a crush or something, somebody was like, on Africa, which is the truth, really is the truth. But of course, with wisdom, bonding with them, like you said, they have a way of talking to us, which makes sense. Thank you so much, sir. Mommy, I don't think we need answer from you now. Daddy has answered. Thank you so much, Daddy. Thank you so much. Now, our next question. We have 6 more minutes to go. Next question is: are there benefits to raising children in the Western way? Are there benefits? Like the reason why I'm asking this question, you will see a lot of people now trying to relocate from Africa. You now be wondering, you have good jobs out, over there. You are doing well. Some people, I even know of someone who sold a house in Lekki. My friend sold a house in Lekki to relocate. So I'm now wondering why. A lot of them, the answer, well, 99% of all the people that gave me the answers is because of their children.
Yeah.
Not poverty, it's children. Children. Now the question now to you is are there benefits raising your children now? I don't know. That's why I want to throw it to you, because that's what you're treating today.
Yeah, to be honest, most of those people who come because of their children, it's not because of it's not because they think raising them with the Western values is better. It's literally they want the children to have opportunity to better infrastructure, better opportunities, better way of living. I mean, when you think about Western, African, some of the African nations, all kinds of issues, kidnapping, for instance, all kinds of issues, security, infrastructure, and then people work so hard, and then at times even money exchange and all those sort of things. So they're thinking, on the long term, is it not better for us to give our children a better opportunity? But it's not, because for most people who bring their children from those places, they understand some of the problems of raising children in this sort of climate. It's literally more or less giving them better opportunities. Literally, yeah.
Thank you so much. I don't know if she's going to say something. But somebody said, because I have 4 minutes. I have to say this. Because while you were speaking, I actually want to say something. Somebody now said, yes, so let's hear the benefit, because she's talking from Nigeria. The benefit is yes, that was what somebody says, that yes, so we want to hear the benefits of raising our children outside Africa. And thank God you've been able to say it. And I love that. Now the question I want to pose, sorry, sir. Now the question I want to pose to you now is that some of the African parents living in the Western world, when their children get to some certain age, they take them back to Africa to school. Why that? Because I think it's now a two-way thing. Some are bringing their children from Africa down. You said because of better infrastructure, which makes sense, really. But now some of the African parents, I know a lot of them that have taken their children back to Africa when they've gotten to some certain age, and they have their reasons. But why again? If this is good, that is good. So what is the essence of all this? That's the last question before we give the final advice to everyone.
I guess the reason why they do that is just from the topic we've been treating today is we want our children to have a bit of the culture, respect and stuff. And sometimes because the children can only pick what they see. It's like telling the child, oh, this is what we do in Africa. And you're like, that's Africa. We haven't been to Africa. So it was something that, my husband had considered before, like, because when you keep shouting about something and they don't know what you're talking about, it's not their reality. So I guess some parents want the children to have a feel of that reality.
Especially if they were born here.
Especially if they were born here. So I wouldn't think it's because of maybe opportunities or security or thereabout. I guess to have a feel. And if you notice, it's not going to be forever. They'll just take them to have a feel. However, I think we're getting to a stage now, and I guess it's what a lot of us should do. And if you see some other cultures, what they do, they form a community. Some other cultures, like people in Asian community, they form a very strong community. And you'll be surprised that a child that hasn't been in their country speak the language fluently. Why can't ours do? Sometimes I blame myself for some of this. Now, my little ones, I went to their school. They have a diversity week about 3 weeks ago, and I volunteered with some other, some of my, spiritual daughter and son from the church. We went to teach them Christianity and African culture. So we diverted to Yoruba, because I just speak the one I understand. And we taught them how to greet. We taught them how to sing. You know, these tales in those days. We brought some Nigerian food, the mats, we dressed, and they loved it. When I say loved it. Since that day, my daughter, the youngest one, the 6 years old, when she sees any African person, she say "Bawoni."
That's good.
Even the other ones that were, proper, English, all of them now, they will say, when we're going to say, Odabo, and they loved it. Why can't we then? So I guess if we, Africans are very passionate about culture, we package it properly and form a community. I guess that might be the best we can do. I remember some few years, and I don't know how much of it we're going to do now. We now said some of our children can be going for holidays in Nigeria, in this private school that's safe, secured, and then they can have like a summer school whereby they learn all the culture over a period of time, maybe summer period, and then they can come back if you want them to have a feel. And with a lot going on, and we're praying for Africa to be better, one of our prayer points today that Nigeria is a lovely place. So proud of my country. We pray that all this kidnapping and everything will be over by God's grace. It's a culture that you don't want to throw away. And so what some of us can do, if we're very passionate about it, form a community, whereby if it's just to come around maybe once in the month or once to have our children learn the culture, learn the food, learn the greetings, and we package it where we make it attractive to them. We'll find out that we'll never forget it. And I guess that's what we still need to do, to retain African culture and bring it to where we are. Because even as children of God, we are here to establish his kingdom in heaven, here or not. So we can establish a culture. Why not? African culture in our own domain. And our children can love it. And other people that are not even Africans, they can love it. They love it in our jollof rice. Why not our other culture that is respect? The government wants the respect. They want the honor. Because it makes the system safe. Why can't we? I guess it's something that we need to take on board and work on. And I pray God will help us.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much, Ma. Like, finally, it's 7 on the dot. Lastly, what advice would you like to give to parents African parents raising up children outside Africa? What advice would you like to give to them? That's the final note, sir. And Ma.
Yeah, quite a number of things. Number one, prayer. We need prayer to raise them. All these principles, things that we've spoken about, you can have all those things, but you still need the help of God. The God factor. So we need to pray. We need to teach them the way of the Lord. Very, very important. Explain to them, teach them why. Be firm by having boundaries, like we said. And like we said when we started, there are so many good parts of raising a child in this culture. One of them is confidence. One of them is some of the schools and the information they are exposed to. So let's not take that away from them. Let's allow them to develop their gifting, express themselves, but then still be firm. So we will say to African parents, let's pray, let's do what we need to do, and then let's let them know that we are very proud to be Africans. So, every time we get the opportunity, I tell them that look, there are other people who we work with. They respect us. So we're proud to be who we are. We don't feel disadvantaged. We don't feel that we are disadvantaged in any way. And that instills it into them that they are not disadvantaged because they are colored, whatever it is. So that's important.
Thank you so much, sir. Ma, we have something to add to it.
And my last
Oh,
word
yeah,
would
I said
be
everything.
bring that culture to where you are. Bring that culture. Be that culture. Be that change. What are they seeing in you? You can't enforce what you don't have. How much of the culture do you have? How much of the positive vibe can they feel in you? It should attract them. If it's not working, maybe the way you are presenting it doesn't make it to attract them. Change your style, change the method, go back and re-engineer it, take it back to the table. Why is it not working? Let's take 2 steps back so that we can take a step forward and our children can pick the right culture. And I feel when we get this done in the right way, if it's nice, if it's packaged well, if it's presented well, they'll pick it up. They'll take the right culture. And I pray God will help us build our children in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, sir and ma. It's nice having you around on our program this evening. What a great privilege and what a day. Somebody said something. This is very instructive. That is somebody's comment that this is very instructive, and she totally loved our, it's not me. She totally loves our perspectives on this topic. Thank you so much, Faith Okoli. We appreciate that comment. Thank you so much, Pastor Dara, for coming online. Kiki, Muraola, everyone. I appreciate all of you. Chimdi, I appreciate all of you. I can't, if I say I should mention everybody's name. Of course, there is no way we live here this evening. But sincerely, I appreciate all our viewers for coming online. And for those that we always go back to watch again, thank you so much. And this is where we'll be calling it a date. But before I say the final goodbye, I want to say thank you, a big thank you to our guests this evening in person of Pastor Tayo and Pastor Moyo Olotu. It's a great privilege, and I don't like taking things for granted. I love this honor. God, in return, we honor you in Jesus' name. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. And this is where we are calling it a day. Till we meet again next time, I remain my humble servant and your loyal friend, Oluwatosin Oladimeji Ladipo. Till then, stay back. Bye.
Thank you so
Bye,
much for having us.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.